Alright guys, here we go. I'm playing a guy with a funky name. CZQVR8. 1762 from Germany, looks like. No, Belgium. My bad. Belgium. G6, C6. Pretty interesting, bizarre way to play it. Looks like I'm actually the one that's been lagging recently. I just have Quest DSL, so it's not the greatest connection in the world, but could be worse for sure. That was kind of bizarre of him to offer the trade of my Dark Square Bishop like that, because my Dark Square Bishop's going to be my worst bishop. And now, if he ever castles Kingside, I can work on the Dark Squares on his Kingside. And maybe I can go Queenside with my pieces. And now I'll have to play along, well, probably play something like Bishop here. Oh, okay, he's gonna... I think Knight F3 is good there. I could go Knight G2 as well, but this seems perfectly fine. I think I'll just castle Kingside. Seems safe enough. The Queenside looks kind of volatile, so I don't know if I'd want to go over there. And now, just get out of the pin somehow. Queen E1. I could just play Rook takes if he takes my knight. And then I'll have my light squared bishop, which can capture his knight if it comes to F5. Because he'll have the mother-in-law knight on me, which would not be good. Okay, Rook takes. Maybe he can get some kind of attack out of this, I don't know. It seems like his dark squares are too weak to try to attack me. But we'll never know, we'll find out. I'm already thinking of ideas of bringing in my queen somehow. Maybe Rook H3, Rook H3, Knight G4, Bishop E2. Bishop E2. His knight has nowhere to go, so he'll have to go back there. So maybe I can win his H pawn here. H-pawn may not be the best pawn to win in this situation, but there are worse things. Now, maybe... Now the king side's going to be the volatile one. How could I develop my knight here? My knight's a little misplaced. Maybe I could get it on C5 or B6 somehow. So maybe knight B4. Because if he's planning on going queenside, then my knight would be very well placed on C5. Now, I'm going to play C4, so Rook C1, C4 might be okay for me. Oh, you could play B5 here. A little crazy move, but good because it forces my knight back to C3 unless I want to double my C pawns, which I don't want to do. And now he has a good stranglehold on C4, so I can never play that. His pawn structure is a little bizarre. All his pawns are on the light squares and stuff, so... He's attacking my D-pawn. I guess I'll just defend it. There's no reason to try to win with capturing on H4. And now it's just undefended, so he has to guard it somehow. I think I'm just going to play Knight E2. That way, if he takes, my knight has a nice outpost on D4. And if he pushes, then maybe I can take on H4. So C4 probably just Rook takes H4, or I could play C3 first. But I mean, it doesn't seem too necessary. I'm just going to take on H4 because I don't have much else going on for me right now. I'd expect him to take, but he might not. He could just play like rook d to g8. Now maybe rook d to g8, but then I can play queen h7. It's hard to say what's happening here. I need to make way for my knight, my queen, or my h pawn to go forward. So maybe I can play c3, and then pawn takes pawn, and then when he takes back, queen f2. Trade, and then my h pawn is going to be very devastating for him in the ending. I really don't like trading queens, but for some reason every time I play online I always get in these type of positions where everything's locked up and can't really attack too well, and you end up having to just trade down into an ending, which is definitely a shame, because chess should not be all about positional play and beating somebody in their trying to take advantage of your slight advantage on the whatever side. But I mean, a passed h-pawn is definitely going to be winning for me, I would say. It is an extra pawn as well, so that's added bonus. Or is it? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's an extra pawn. He's trying to come into c4. I'm not going to let him. That would be a very juicy square for him, for his knight. And now I can just plant my knight on d4, and if he tries to trade, he won't be able to trade, so knight c6 is probably important for him, but I guess he doesn't want to play that. Okay, knight d4, now probably just h4, and then rook h1 and advance that way. If he goes knight c6, I could take it and try to win the rook ending. Rook endings are usually the hardest to win, simply because rooks can generate a lot of counterplay. So, okay, you see what she's trying to play b4, but I'm just going to play h4 and continue with h5. Very simple play. b4, c takes b4, rook takes b4, then just h5, and his rook has to go back to b8 eventually. Although his king is in the square right now, so maybe he doesn't have to. Let's see. b4 seems like the natural move here. Undermine my knight. But then I could play something sneaky like c4 myself. Okay, he's gonna try to. I'll just defend my h-pawn. And once my h-pawn gets to h7, then his rook will be tied down to the defense of the back rank. So he won't be able to move it away from h8 for long. Which means I can use my king and knight to wreak havoc on his queen side, I mean. So what is he doing with his knight here? Everything seems locked down pretty nice, so I'll just play h5, try to wait and see what he's trying to do. Oh, I see. He wants to go knight c5 to e4 to try to win my c-pawn. That was a good move by him. Okay. Maybe I'll just play king e3, and then oh, that was a bad move. Now after knight e4, I can't guard my pawn anyway, because if I go king d3, then knight f2 check wins my rook. So instead, I'll have to play c4. Pawn takes c4, pawn takes c4, pawn takes c4, then g4, trying to undermine him. Not the most ideal way to play it out, but it should work. Because he can't take, because I'll take his knight, and if he doesn't take, then I can play pawn takes pawn, and then knight takes pawn, winning the pawn back. Kind of an unorthodox way to play it, but should make it a little interesting, because I didn't see what he was trying to do with his knight move. I probably could have just played b4, lock his pawns down, and prevent his knight from coming back in. And then his only good square for his knight, he would have to come back here and try to trade it off on c6, I guess. But this way seems logical for me. I'm gonna win the pawn back immediately. My rook will be able to defend against his newly created pass pawn. And I'm kind of putting the question to his knight as well, because he doesn't have too many squares he can go to. Okay, knight g3. I think I can just attack it with rook h3. And if he goes knight f1, his knight is trapped now. See, it has no squares to go to. Oh, I see. You could play that. Okay. I thought it was trapped. Guess I was wrong. Okay. That's a shame. His knight's hopping around pretty annoyingly. Oh, that's a shame. I don't want to trade. I guess I have to. I might actually not be doing so well this game. I just flag him on time anyway. It's hard to say what's really going on here. His g-pawn's gonna force me to lose that, but I just won on time. Instead of his move, his f6 move, maybe he could play g3, g2, g, and like he'll win my h-pawn, and it'll probably end up being a drawn rook in it, which is unfortunate, but hey, you can't win them all, and I'm just playing terrible today, so alright, on to the next.